and followed by we have another property that is css background repeat. uh, what is the css background repeat means? By default the background image property repeats the background image horizontally, so you can use this background repeat as a repeat x repeat y, and you can use this no repeat so that the image is not repeated. Okay, and followed by we have another property that is css background attachment. This background attachment property is used to specify if the background image is fixed. Okay, like the scroll with the rest of the page in the browser window. If you set this like if you set this fixed, if you set fixed the background image, then the image will not move during scrolling the browser. Okay, this is what the css background attachment. And finally we have the css background position. It is generally used to print, this is generally, this property is generally used to define the position of this background image. Like you can print your image center, right, left, top, bottom, everything. Okay, this is all about the css background properties. And here I'm going to explain you guys about the css border property. Okay, this css border is a, one second. Okay, this css border property is a shorthand property, means which is generally used to set the border of an element. Okay, and the css border properties are used to specify the style, color, and size of the border of an element. And the css and here I will list out some of the css border properties, that is border style, border color, border width, and border radius. Okay, I will explain what is the css border style. What is the css border style means? This css border style property is generally used to specify the border type which you want to display on the website. Okay, and there are some border style values which are generally used with the border style property to define the border. I will first one is none. What is this none means? It doesn't define any border. Okay, if you want to if you want to if you don't want to define any border, then you can use this none property. And like if you want to print your border as a dot, if you want to print your border with the dots, then we have that facility also. We can use this dotted property. And followed by we have that property that is dashed. It is used to define a dashed border. Okay, and if you want to print the solid border, then we have the solid property. And another thing is, if you want to define the border with the, if you want to define it two border, if you want to define this double border, then you can print that property also. We have the double property, like generally defines two borders with the same border with value. Okay, and we have other property that is groove. It defines a 3D groove border, like it effect is generated according to border color value. And followed by we have another property that is ridge. It defines a 3D rigid border, like effect is generated according to border color value. Okay, and finally we have what is this outside. It defines a 3D outside border, like effect is generated according to border color value. I will explain each and everything. Let me show you what are all these. Here P. Um, Let me take class, that is, one second. The first property, that is class, right? So here P class equals to none, and none means no border. And after that we have Sorry, we have other property that is dot. And here dotted border. And here p class is equals to dash. Here dash border. Here we have solid. Like if you want to print your border in a font. And finally, sorry, we have another property that is double. Or is this double border? We have groove. Ridge. And after that inset. And outset. Okay. Till now, I have written these all HTML property, all HTML tags. Now let me add all the CSS properties to this particular. Let me delete all this. First one, what is this? None. Okay. So dot none. Okay. What is this border style, right? Okay, sorry. Border style none, and after that dot what is this dot property, and dash after that. Dash right solid double. We dot solid double double groove ridge. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention inside border. Let me add on this inside border and outside border also. Inside and outside, right? Inside, outside. See, we got everything clearly. No border means we didn't get any border. This is what your no border property, and here border is printed with this dotted. So this is what this dotted border means. Like if you want to print your border as a dashed, like see here, we see here the border is printed with the dashes. This is what the dashed property, dashed border. And followed by we have some properties. See here, you can clearly see that what is this double border here. The border is printed doubly, okay. And here, what is this groove border? See, you can clearly see the difference between this inside border and outside border, okay. This is generally what are all these css border style mean, okay. In css border we have many types like dotted border, non bordered, solid border, double bordered, outset, inset, everything, okay. And followed by we have also other css border property, that is css border width. Let me explain that what is the css border width. This css border width property is generally used to set the border widths, okay. We generally we set it in a pixels, okay. You can also use one of these three predefined values, that is thin, medium or thick, okay, based upon your urgency, based upon your need. We can use these different values, that thin, medium, thick, to set the width of the border, okay. And there is another thing that you should keep in your mind, that these css with border, I mean this border width property. Let me explain. Let me take an example here. Okay, here I just want to add this css with property to this dotted. Where is this dotted? Okay, here. Let me add with. Okay, let me add to this style. Okay, solid border with border with that is. Oh, let me give 5 pixels. See, here you can clearly see that this solid border, like here we got the border in a 5 pixel width format. This is what the css background, I mean css border width means. It's generally this background width property is used to set the borders width, okay. uh, and Another thing is, we here we set it in the mm, pixels. And here, let me delete this. See, here I got the output that is solid border with the no border and no pixels. Okay, like this is the what is this means? The CSS border width property is not used alone. Okay, it is always used with the other border properties like CSS style. Okay, property to set the border first, otherwise it will not work. See here, these width property is not work because it is in alone. Okay, this is the point you should keep in your mind. This CSS with property is not it should not be alone. Let me give, what is this CSS border property? Border style that is solid. See here I got the output. Okay, this is what means CSS border with property means. Okay, and followed by we have another property that is CSS border color. There are three methods to set this color of this border. The first one is name, like it specifies the color name. For example, here I mean what is this, directly I have mentioned that color red, color blue, color green, means we can mention these names. And here we have another type that is RGB. What is this RGB means? It specifies the RGB value of this color. For example, RGB of 25500. If you please do it in the Google, like there are many colors. I can't list out all these RGB colors. Okay, and we have another type that is hex. It generally specifies the hexa value of this color. For example, ff 000, like something. Okay, means for every code we have there is a color. This is what, one second, this is what the CSS border color means. There is also a border color. I mean, there is in the CSS there is also a border color named transparent. Okay, if the border color is not set, it is inherited from the CSS property of this element. Okay, and another thing is this border color property is not should be used in alone. And same as the CSS border width, it always used with the other CSS border properties like border style property to set the border first, otherwise it will not work. Let me add some CSS border color. Okay. Here I want to add the border color. Border color, let me add directly. Here I am giving name, means I want to see. Here I got the output in a red color format. Here directly I gave the name. Let me give my name in an RGB format. Mm, let it be. Let me add it here. Border color. Here, what is this border color? Mm, FF 00. Oh, see here I got the output in a red color format. Means these hexa value FF000 and these red both are same. Okay. Let me give in another color that is hash 98BF21. See here I got this border in a green color format. Means this 98BF21 indicates the green color. This is generally what CSS border color properties means. Like here we have three methods like name, RGB. Let me give RGB also. Like I didn't remember anything. Okay, let it be. Here in this, one second. Yeah, here in the CSS border color properties, we have three methods, that is name, RGB, and hex value. What is this name means? It specifies the color name directly, like this red, blue, green, everything. RGB means it specifies the RGB value of this color. Okay, and hex means it generally specifies the hex value of this color. Okay, if you if you Google it, then you will get all the CSS. All these border hexa values, RGB values, names, and everything. This is general. This is what is CSS border properties means. This let me explain everything clear. What is the CSS border means? The CSS border is a shortened property. It is used to set the border of an element. And these CSS border properties are generally used to specify the style, color, and size of the border of an element. And the CSS border, once again, and the CSS and we in CSS we have some formats, that is CSS border, style, color, I mean border style, border color, and border width. And finally we have what is this border radius and everything. I have explained each and everything clearly. Once again, I have explained what is border style, border color, and border width. I will explain this border radius tomorrow in tomorrow's session. What is it? I have explained everything, like border style means like this border style property is generally used to specify the border type which you want to display on this web page. And I have explained all the border, I mean all these border style properties, that is none, dotted. Like if you want to print your border in a dashed format, then you can print that then you can print your border in a dashed format. Like we have this dashed property. And we have another properties, that is solid. It generally used to define a solid border. And we have followed by we have another border, that is double. It defines the two borders with the same border width value, and inset, outset, reach, and everything. I have explained each and everything. I have added some CSS properties also. And another, and followed by we have another CSS border property, that is CSS border width. The CSS border width property is used to set the border width. It is actually set in pixel. And there is another thing that you should keep in your mind, that this border width property is not used in the yellow. Okay, you have it always used with the other border properties, like border style property, to set the border first, otherwise it will not work. And followed by we have another property, that is CSS border color. If you want to add any color to this CSS border, then we have that facility also. Like in here we have three methods, that is name, RGB, and hexa value. What is this name? It generally defines the color name. RGB means it specifies the RGB value. And what is this? Hexa. Yeah, hexa means it defines the hexa value of the color. Okay. And there is another CSS border property, that is CS border radius. I will explain this concept tomorrow. One second. This is all for today's session. Santoshi ma'am, sir,
Yes, ma'am.
if you want to say anything, you please.
No, ma'am. Shall we wind up the session?
Yeah, sure. Guys, you can leave now.